What's up, y'all? Welcome to Learning the Process podcast. Here we are. We back at it, y'all. Yanko, how you doing, my brother? How you feeling today? How was your week, my guy?
It was pretty good, man. I have no complaints. I'm extremely blessed, extremely grateful. Over the weekend, was on set in Connecticut, shooting a short film. So was really excited about that. It's going to be a psychological thriller. So, I'm looking forward to seeing the end result, I mean, you never really know what's going to look like after it's done, but I definitely had a good time, being able to be on set with all those other actors and just bringing something to life. So I was really proud, so my weekend and my week has been pretty good. So extremely blessed. And yourself?
All right, man. Yeah, that sounds great, brother. That's good, man. Sounds very productive. That's great, yo. So for me, I had a good week. This week, I had a challenging last week, right? It was very emotional roller coaster for me. And this week, I felt like that's it. I'm kind of over that hump. We all go through some seasonal challenges that, curveballs that life throws at us. And, I realize that certain things, when they're out of my control, I just need to make my peace with it and just let it go. You know what I'm saying? And last week, I realized what letting it go looks like and feels like. And this week, I feel like, okay, that's it. My emotions are calmer. I feel like I went through the storm and I'm getting to the other side of it, the ending of the storm. So it feels good. I had a better week this week emotionally and more focused. I'm more concentrated. So yeah, man. So far, it's a we're in Thursday now, but it's a good ending of the week.
Okay. No, I mean that's good. Being able to self-reflect and self-analyze, in a positive, healthy way. It's always, most people don't know how to do it, and it's not their fault because they haven't been taught. They don't believe, or know that exists. But, once you've, I guess, have gotten some type of therapy, and have gotten a different perspective from someone outside of your community, your environment, you learn something new. So, the fact that you was able to do that, I do that sometimes too. But it's a little bit hard when you want things to go right.
Yeah, absolutely, yo.
It's like I want it to go right, and then you're trying to control everything to make it go right,
forcing it. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So, and that's hard because we've been also told that, you got to be self-made. Whatever it is that you want, you got to go out there and make it happen. And most people is like, okay, well, how do you do that?
Yeah,
by control. So.
Yeah, I get it. All right, y'all. Let's get into this podcast episode. This is episode number 8. We're making some good strides. We're getting places. We're learning things. We're changing. We're evolving. We're getting better at it. We're not perfect at it. I can see things I want to improve on, but you know what? It's part of the process, right?
That's right.
All right. Today's topic is going to be based on feeling that it's too late. All right, and what I mean by that is in life in general. You and me are in our late 40s now. Yeah. We're in our late 40s. And being at this age, sometimes you're going to feel like, it's too late in life for you. You missed your chance. You should have been way far along by now in the goals you wanted to accomplish. And certain things in your life that should have been under control by now. Mm-hmm. Where you should have a strong foundation. Example would be financial freedom, right? It's one of the things I still struggle with.
Both of us.
I still struggle with financial freedom. I feel like I should have been like, that's supposed to be behind me and I should be focusing on other things. Right? But it's not. It's still kind of at the forefront. It's something that I really think about a lot. All right? So today we're going to talk about these things on how we feel that whether it's too late or not. All right? Are we behind the ball? Are we on time? Where are we? And what do we feel about that? All right. So, Yanko, I'm going to ask you a question first. Briefly describe your old mindset. Where were you at in the past when this belief of it's too late came in?
Well, as you know, we grew up with, what is called a self-limiting belief. But we've never heard that term till just like recently for us. But that's something that has been around, I want to say maybe 200 years. So you can only make choices based off of the information that you have at the moment that you got to make a choice. And that's what a lot of people don't understand, which is why they say knowledge is power. Because if you have the correct knowledge, the correct information, you can make the correct decision. And a lot of people, they make decision off of the information they have. Unfortunately, a lot of the information we do get is misinformation. It's the incorrect information. Now, the decision that you make is correct based off of the information you have. But if the information is incorrect, then the outcome will be, I don't want to say incorrect, but it won't be favorable to your, lifestyle, because you made the right choice. It was just based off of the wrong information.
So what you're telling me is that in the past, the choices you were making were based on information that wasn't correct.
Exactly.
So this is why, you're at. That's why you was at in the past.
Yes.
And the choices you were making at that time.
Exactly. So the old mindset, which is a mindset prior to the new mindset based on the new information we have. So with, it's too late. I can't do that. It's too late. Well, that's more from somebody else's perspective, telling you that the moment that you had to do something, it's already long gone. But that's a lie, because that's somebody telling you, and now you're taking on their self-limiting belief. And that's a hard thing, because that happens, I don't want to say it's done purposely from the person giving you their self-limiting belief, but they're giving it to you from their perspective of their experience in life.
All right.
So they think that they're doing you a favor by giving you this information, not knowing that they have consumed negative or incorrect information. So now they're passing it on to you as if, hey, I'm trying to guide you. I'm trying to tell you something that is going to help you, but it's not, because it hasn't helped them, but they don't know, because they don't know they've been operating off of the wrong information. So many times I believed that I was too old or that it was too late to do something,
And why did you feel like it was too late? What made you feel like that? Besides, people telling you this, why in your own world, in your own mind, in your own emotion, what beliefs did you create that were created by you as opposed to other people telling you that?
Want to know?
Absolutely.
You know what definitely caught me?
What?
Comparison.
Comparing
yourself to somebody else's journey.
Wow.
Where they are. Like, perfect example, right? As kids, right? We knew some of our fellow friends that graduated first than us. They graduated in 3 years, high school, while some of us graduated in 4 years. Others graduated in 5 years. So that comparison of, well, you have to be where they are, that right there is the one that always is like on top of you, if you are always comparing yourself to how someone else did something.
Yo, that's crazy that you just said that, because I remember, my mom's always trying to do that to me.
Mm-hmm.
She would say somebody like, this person doing this person doing that because of this, and I'm in my head like, okay, I'm not that person. You know what I'm saying?
True.
So, but at that, when she used to say that, you kind of used to bother me. It used to weigh heavy on me, and it used to put pressure on me.
Of course.
And I used to be thinking about it. I'm like, man, it made me kind of feel like, damn, I'm a failure. Like, what's wrong with me? What's wrong with me?
That's the one. Because in our culture, our parents do that all the time. People in our community do that all the time. They're always bragging about what somebody else did,
That's brutal.
that you haven't done.
You haven't done.
And it's like, now you're always in comparison, where it's like, oh, well, this person got Jordans. Why don't I, and then when you get your Jordans, you feel like you got them late because somebody else got them first. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's the one thing that for a long time, all the way until I got back from my tour in Iraq, that's how I lived. If somebody else did it first, that's it. I'm late. Like in that movie Talladega Nights, if you're not first, you're last.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a good movie. I love that movie. I still watch it.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah.
And it's those informational pieces that those older than you give to you, that and then in our culture, you're there to respect the elders, right? So whatever your elders said must be true. They were born first than us. They've lived life first than us. So what they're saying, it's got to be true. And it's not. It's just that, they've been given the wrong information and they've been operating off of that wrong information, that then they think that they're doing a good thing by passing it to us. And then at the end of the day, now we're just repeating the cycle.
Yeah, that's right. Limiting belief cycle.
The limiting belief cycle.
Yeah, that's wild, yo. For me, I definitely, try to compare to other people. Because in my neighborhood, how we was raised, when it came to sports, there's people that had better arms.
Oh my God.
There people had better skills.
Jumping ability.
And then what in time I learned, I'm like, wait, man, you went to a better school than me. Wait, your parents put money into your curriculum. I ain't get none of that.
That's right.
I remember could have made it. I could have made it in this is something that really bothers me, like making it in sports, right? I could have made it probably far in football.
Both of us.
And people were telling me, it's like, yo, man, you're really good. This is natural to you, yo. You should definitely pursue this. And I tried to, and then it came down to I couldn't afford the equipment.
That's right.
I couldn't afford the equipment, and I wasn't doing good in school. So when I brought it to my mom's, she was like, "Let me see your grades." Yeah, that's not happening. I'm like, yo, there's a chance if you would have given me that money for that equipment, my grades would have changed because you have to have good grades to stay on the team.
That's right.
That could have changed the trajectory of my life, but I lost hope.
That's right.
My hope, I was like, whatever.
And that's another thing too, that for us in our community, it's almost like giving up is expected. If you don't get it on the first try, give up.
Yeah.
And I see that with so many parents, from our generation, people who grew up with us, who have kids, that I've seen that, where if they don't get it on the first try, because everybody believes that you're supposed to succeed at the first try of doing something.
Well, they're hoping for that.
They're hoping
They
for
hope
it.
because they're comparing us to other parents that but they don't realize that some of those, some of those kids are just, that's in their genetics, that they're just readers. They understand math pretty well.
Yes.
Some of us are just physical. We're great at physicality. Removing weights is amazing, but they don't acknowledge that. They just look at from the brain out, right?
Exactly.
Like doctor, lawyer. It's like, yo, man. It's like, what? It's like, yo, my neighborhood. There wasn't a lot of those people in my neighborhood
At all. None. Not a lot.
The
None.
average of those kind of people coming out, especially around our environment. Who do you know out of everyone we grew up with that became an attorney?
Nobody.
Who do you know out of everyone we grew up with who became a doctor?
Nobody.
All right. No, it was people made it to government jobs, to basic jobs. Some people have good careers.
Yeah.
But it wasn't like life-changing careers.
Yeah, those are blue-collar jobs, you know, that you get, you work your, 25, 30 years, you retire, and you stay, lower middle class, blue-collar job, And if you had, and here's the thing, too, that because our community comes from, immigrant families, when they get here, all they want is a job that is consistent.
Consistency,
a stable job.
Stable job. They can
That's
put food
it.
on the table.
That's it.
Roof over the ceiling.
And that's it. They never aspire for anything else. So then that lack of aspiration, they pass it on to us. you know, and then they say, oh, you got to go to school. You got to go to school. You got to do something with yourself. And it's like, okay, but where's the guidance to get there? You're telling me to just go to school. And it's like, okay, but give me more information.
Can I add something to that?
Go ahead.
Look, one thing that I realized about that, and you're saying what is truth, but one thing I learned now in my maturity is that, and mind you, a lot of things that I said right now, just to let the audience know, it's not to bash my mother whatsoever. My mother came from the Dominican Republic. My mother used to like wash clothes in the river. She used to smack the clothes against rocks so it could be cleaned. My mom used to be in the field, you know, putting her hands in the soil to grow things. So my mom migrated over here to give me a better life. However, my mom spent more time in the Dominican Republic in the system that they had over there, which they had education, they had college and all that. But when they came here, the world is different. The system is different, and they're mixed with so many different races around the world that it's a different world. You know what I'm saying? So how my mom was able to maneuver in this place, she did not know how to. What she did was able to do, like any immigrant family comes to, is get a job. All right. Now her job took over her life, so she wasn't able to sit down and be like, okay, let's go do this homework together. I'm going to teach you how to understand this math. She could not do that. She would go to these laborish factory jobs, come home. There was no energy left but to feed us, and that's it. And she never got to learn English. She never got to go like, you know, I'm going to go to college. I'm going to go back to school here and get an English education. I can speak to my son and my daughter and teach them how. She couldn't do that. So she just did with the best she can. So I understand that today. All right. So just based on the stories that I said, it's not to body slam my mom. So my mom couldn't do it.
That's right.
She didn't have what she needed or assistance because my mom's was a single parent.
That's right. And that's the thing that, you know, what people don't understand is that a lot of, you know, parents, you know, from our community and our environment is the same thing. They were basically on survival mode, fight or flight.
That's right.
That's it. So there's nothing that they can teach based off of guidance and wisdom because they're trying to just get money to feed us, especially if you got multiple kids, and then make sure that we're not homeless.
That's right.
So, you know, and then you later on as we get older, you know, we start hitting our teens, you can start seeing the frustration, you know, of our parents' lack of success start, you know, coming at us in a form or of a fashion of an attack. Yeah. And the attacking comes when they're comparing us to somebody else's, you know, success or somebody else's journey. You know, oh, look at you see that so and so, they went to a good college, they went to a good school, and it's like, yeah, well, I wanted to go to a good school too. And I didn't even know those schools existed. Did you know those schools existed? No. So then you expected me to just figure it out on my own and then just do these things, you know?
Yeah, unfortunately,
like, my mother would say this all the time, you know, when I joined the military. She was like, oh, why are you going over there? You know, why don't you go to school and become a doctor? And I'm like, do you know any doctors? Yeah. Is anybody in our family a doctor? No. No. So then how am I supposed to go to this school and just
that I can't afford because everything costs money,
you know? Yeah, so exactly. And just like you were saying, you know, I was really good in football. I just didn't have size, you know, and to me, a self-limiting belief was that in order to make it to the NFL, you had to be 200 pounds. But now we watch players who are 170 pounds, 180 pounds playing the positions that we used to play. Yeah. And I'm like, oh my God, I totally could have made it to the NFL.
Yeah.
Because for me, being 120 pounds, I'm like, oh my God, 200 pounds, that's impossible.
Yeah.
You know? Oh my God, 180 pounds, that's impossible.
You know when I knew that was a lie? I remember when I went to I always felt that wasn't my size. I never thought about it. Mm-hmm. I never thought about my size. Even when I used to play basketball, people that were bigger than me, 7'2", and I used to cross and pass right through them. I'm like, your height is actually my advantage. Yes. Because you're that tall, I'm gonna be better than you. Because I'm so close to the ground, I'm gonna move like a Ferrari around you.
That's right.
The closer you're to the ground, the faster you are. That's how I thought. That was my mindset. So like, I don't have to be scared of you because of your height. I have speed. You don't have that.
That's right.
And I moved around Fausto. I moved around Ed. I moved around all these tall people. I moved fast because I took advantage of their height. You're too tall.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? Look at Muggsy Bogues. Super inspiration. Dude was shorter than me.
Yeah, 5'3".
Oh my man, 5'3", 5'5", something like that. And look at his legs. Genetically, he has something genetically. His legs.
And he could jump.
Look at Spot Webb. 5'7".
Yep.
Dunk.
Yep. He was a slam dunk champion. I think in 87 or 88.
Yeah. Look. So once I saw that, I was like, anything is possible. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
But the sad part is when everything just passed by my eyes. And I felt like, oh my God, yo, I could have done this today. I could have became this.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I could have been that. That could have been my story, and it's not.
That's right.
Totally different story. And sometimes it breaks my heart. Sometimes I go back and it kind of gives me watery eyes. I think about it, it weighs heavy on my heart. I'm like, damn, this could have been me, man. You know. And I see the difference today of how children who have the better ability to make it in these sports because parent support, which we didn't have, right?
That's right.
They go to every game.
Mm-hmm.
If the parents are there and go to every game. And it's starting to grow now. This has become more common practice. So there's a lot of people in our community today, they do this. So they learn from the mistakes of our parents. They couldn't do it. And, you know, even now at an old age, they pull those old parents. Here, this is what it looks like.
That's
I'm going
right.
to teach you something.
That's right.
Boom, you coming with me. We're going to watch your grandchild play baseball.
Mm-hmm.
And they love it.
Yeah.
They love it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, man. Definitely my heart, because of the things I missed out on, I felt in my life, I had this limiting belief that a lot of things are too late. So it's like I carry this vicious lying cycle in me that if I miss a specific boat, that's a wrap for that.
That's right.
And that's not a reality. That is not a reality
exactly.
today. Now, of course, I can't make it to the NBA at this age. I'm not going to be in the NFL at this age. But you know, I can still play football.
We can still
at
play
this age.
at our age.
I can still join a tournament.
That's right.
I don't have to be getting paid multi-million dollars, but I can still join a tournament and have fun and play people with my age and still have that glorious feeling of trying to win a game.
That's
and the competitive nature of it all, right? Taking it more easy and get ready to put the Bengay after I'm done.
But here's the thing. The fact that we can physically do it, you know, is like...
It's beautiful.
It's beautiful. And that's why, you know, we don't have those limiting beliefs anymore, that it's too late. Because one thing that you know, we both know, and you, because of your devotion to your faith, is that as long as I have another day to breathe, is another opportunity to do something.
That's right. All right, that's a good question. All right, so what made you realize something had to change? When you started realizing, like, wait, man, this ain't right. This doesn't make any sense.
Well, for me, you know, as they say, is people change when something forces them to change, right? Something either traumatic happens or there is an event in their life that forces them to change. So for me, it was being in Iraq. You know, I was part of something called the QRF, which is a quick reaction force, which is technically just like the SWAT team of a specific area in Iraq. And, you know, being involved in that, the many firefights and the explosions and all the things that, you know, are horrible, you know, moments of war. When I got back, I was like, holy ish. Like, I survived that. Like, I survived that. And, you know, and then that made me reflect. Like, I literally took life for granted. And as you know, all we did was chill on the corner. We chilled on the corner inside a building, and we would spend 10 hours, 15 hours outside, standing on the corner, doing nothing productive. So for me, that was my change. Whereas, like, okay, I could have died at any moment in Iraq, and I didn't. And I had a shit ton of close calls. So for me, I was like, okay, I'm no longer wasting my life. I'm not going to sit around and wait for something. So then I just started learning a bunch of shit. Everything I wanted to do literally came true. I wanted to be in a band. I picked up an instrument, taught myself how to play bass, and then all of a sudden it just started guiding me towards people that were like, hey, oh, you play bass? Hey, you want to be in my band? Boom, dream come true. I got to play in many bars. Then, well, the first one was being in the Army, because I was a fan and still am a fan of G.I. Joes. So that was my first, manifestation, is to be a G.I. Joe. And I did. I ended up in the Army. The second manifestation was I wanted to be in a band. Then the third one was become a professional wrestler, which came out of nowhere, you know?
I remember that.
Exactly.
I'm gonna wrestle.
So,
Did it?
mind you now, I'm already in my 30s when these things happen, And guess what? When we were growing up, 30 years old was like, oh my God.
You're an old man.
You're an old man. That's it. You're an old man. You're old. You're 30. That's it. You're like almost close to grandpa level. And I was telling my mother just recently, I was like, Mom, look at my age. And what I've done at this age, nobody in our family was doing.
That's facts.
Nobody. So that's where my self-limiting belief changed. My mindset was from there, from being able to, oh my God, I almost died every single day being in Iraq. And I was like, I'm no longer taking my days for granted. I'm going to always do something productive.
It's funny that you said that, because what caused me to change was exactly your story. You know what I'm saying? When you told me everything you was doing, and you was like being in a band. I remember when you was like a security guard, and then you started doing martial arts, and you got your black belt, and then I was like, yo, man. And then you told me the story and why you changed, because, you valued your life. You're like, yo, my man, life is so short. It's so fleeting. We could easily lose it. Yo, you just got to enjoy every moment you can. You got to enjoy every moment you can. So, that right there, your advice, your story changed me. And I was like, yo, I'm not gonna use excuses not to do things. I'm gonna stop being scared. And when I started kick fear in the butt, because fear was always one of the main factors of why I couldn't progress. That one time, because you did skydiving so many times.
Yes.
You jumped so many times out of a plane. So I was like, Yanko, I want to jump out of a plane, and you took me.
That's right.
That jumping out of a plane was my stance against fear. I said, yo, if I jump out of this plane and I survive, what in the world am I scared of?
And I survived.
And what am I scared of? Yo, when I jumped out of that plane, it was one of the greatest fears I ever felt, when I was at the edge of that plane.
Oh,
and,
my
and,
God.
And it was like, okay, you ready? I was like, go. And I was like, yo, my man, once that seat at the edge of the plane was the fear.
Yes.
Once I was off the plane falling, fear did no longer exist. It actually felt normal for me to fall. Like I'm supposed to be doing this. Like I'm supposed to be flying. It felt like. Right? And then when the dude let the parachute go, yo, even better. That slow descent was, I didn't even focus. Like, yo, my man, this parachute could just get messed up right now. A bird could just fly right into it. I didn't think none of that. All I saw was the beauty and the curvature of the earth. And I was like, yo, this is wild. This is beautiful. Why have I never not done this before? Yo, this is why. And then when I landed, it was like, yo, my man, that's it. There's no excuses. So now I use that for anything that stands in my way. I go back and remember, yo, Marcos, go watch your video. You jumped out of a plane, bro. You risked your life. You know what I'm saying? I could have died that day. Not. And you mind that week, somebody parachute didn't open.
Yeah.
That same day happened. Somewhere else. It didn't open, and my father called me when we was already heading back.
Yeah.
He was like, yo, did you jump yet? This and this and that. And I was like, yeah, man, I'm already headed back. Like, oh my God, thank God. He was like, yo, somebody just this in the 30 heard.
Yeah.
You know how it is. So.
And then, once I got back from Iraq, that's when I was doing all those things, which is how we ended up snowboarding,
Yeah, and that's when I asked you. I was like, yo, you already knew?
And I already knew that because I had already gone snowboarding, so.
Experiencing new things.
Absolutely.
Just trying it all.
Because that's the thing. It was like, oh, it's too late. But it's the fear of other people, them, trying to enlighten you, guide you. They put on those self-limiting beliefs on you. So you're like, oh my God, well, yeah, if this person says I'm too old, that it's too late for me, then that's it. I'm too old, then I'm too late.
All right, I got a question for you. Now that you're like in your late 40s, what in this age frame do you feel like you missed a buck on something, or you feel like, nah, you know what, I'm good. I'm actually on target.
The only thing that I can say that I missed out, and again, it's due to the lack of information, the lack of guidance that we had from our environment, our community, is being able to go to the college that I wanted to go play football, which was Michigan. You know? Now, I always wanted to play, college football, but I didn't know how to get to college. I mean, I got to play high school football, and then a little bit of semi-pro, but that was already after I had already, done my tour in Iraq. When I came back, where I was like, oh, well, there's a semi-pro football team. I'm going to go try out. And you came and you saw me play one game.
Yeah, you played for the FDNY against NYPD.
Against NYPD.
Yo, there was this one dude in there, bro. He was like my man. I think he was like 5'5". Yo, 5'5", bro. He must have weighed like 160 or something like that. Yo, this guy was so strong. He was so powerful. They could not stop him. He would like go up to people head to head like a ram. Like he was not. When I saw him, like, yo, the impact that this small dude was doing, and he would walk with so much confidence. Everybody was like he knew this guy was like really good.
Yeah.
And I'm like, look how little he is. There's people in there like 6'3", brolic, and this dude right now is like, this is the guy. We got to pass him the ball. This is the.
Yep. Give it to him. Wild. Yep. Give it to him. Yep. And that's the thing, that, someone like that doesn't have self-limiting belief. He was like, I'm capable. He was like, he was using, the I am.
Yeah.
And he did. So, that's the only thing that I'm like, man, I know if I would have had the right information with the right people and the right guidance and the right support system, I totally would have, because, in football, I was crazy fearless. I was fearless. I tackled everyone and like, so that was just it. That's the one thing that I'm like, because you can't physically, that's like Michael Jordan wanting to play right now and bust everybody's butt in the NBA. Yeah, mentally and in his heart,
he could do it.
He feels he can do it.
I believe he could. But I think the body's
gonna say you can't.
Yeah. If you put his mind and his heart in a young body, he will.
Of course.
He will. He will adapt to the new strategies, the new games, and the ways played today. He will. He will dominate because he's a person that loved to advance. His work ethics were too extreme. Exactly. That's what made him a great player, because he overworked.
That's right.
To perfection. He strived to. It was unreachable goal, perfection. But because he strived for such a thing, it's just he kept evolving quickly.
Like if you take my mind right now, right, and put it in my 25-year-old body.
Yeah, me too. Yo, what? God. The way I train, physically, I am more physically fitter than I was when I was younger.
Yeah.
I'm way more muscular. I know exactly how to use my body. I know my limits. I know when to push back. I know when to move forward, and I'm very strategic.
Exactly.
My mind today, and you put it that, I would have definitely become a football player.
Of course.
Because the way I would have trained.
Of course.
The what I would have done to get that equipment, bro, I would have freaking sold lemonade in the corner. Exactly. I would have worked at a supermarket packing back. I would have done anything to get that equipment. Or get my mom's. You can't give me the money? Fine. Boom. Because I know things now. I know what you could. I didn't know that.
Well, here's the thing.
Nobody was like, yo, you know what? Go get a job. No, you know what? Do and you all you need to do is save this much money. Maybe I could have gone to the guidance counselor at the school. And look, if I'm broke, I don't got nothing, but I really want to play. What do I gotta do? Can you guys help me? What? I didn't ask those questions.
But it
was just like my mom's was the last word,
the end all be
all.
And
because end all be all, and I didn't go back and was like, hey, I can't get it. What can I do? What's the next thing? Can I borrow? Can I get what? Like.
But here's another thing, because we were raised in the same environment.
Yeah.
We were also raised not to ask questions.
Damn it.
Right?
Damn.
And also, too, our family
scared to ask questions.
Our family had so much pride that they were always like, don't you dare go ask or beg anyone for anything.
Me, I was just too scared. I was an introvert by nature, so I wouldn't ask anyway.
Exactly. But then when you also have, that pressure, of having someone, a family member that is like, yo, don't you dare go out there and make me look bad by asking people for this or that. So then what do?
Yeah.
You don't ask.
That's brutal.
Same here. Like, I could have went into my guidance counselor and be like, listen, I really want to go to college. I want to do this. I want to do that. But for me, it was like, okay, if it's not put in front of you, then it doesn't exist and you can't have it.
Yeah.
So.
Okay. All right. In conclusion, bro. Where are you now, man? Where are we now?
Oh, brother.
You know what I'm saying? What changed since, you realize all this, that, these limiting beliefs, that time really doesn't matter, that it's not too late for specific things, that you could still achieve even though certain things are not, like, you can't be an NFL player, but you know what? Life still continues, right?
Mm-hmm. So here's the thing. For me now, based off of the information that I have, because of my experience in life, now is try to find the solution, try to find the way, the answer, the road. What's the road? And it's not about, achieving it. It's about trying, the attempt, and keep attempting until you feel satisfied. There's like, okay, I tried enough. I looked for many different avenues to get to that destination, but in the way to get to that destination, you'll get to other destinations that will take you in a different direction. So for me now it's just like, okay, at least I have to attempt it. Let me keep attempting multiple times, because the attempt is the part that you should be enjoying, which is the process.
Yeah.
Is a process of getting to the destination.
Yeah.
If you quit as soon as you say, oh, well, I don't know how to get there, and that's it, you just gave up, you are avoiding the fruits, right, of the process.
Yep.
Because that's the labor. The labor is the process.
Yep.
So for me, there's no failure in not reaching the destination. For me, failure is not even attempting to find the route to the destination. And that's the thing. So that's what I've learned, and that's what made me, change the way, like we're talking about financial freedom. Every day we're trying to figure out how.
Yeah.
Every day.
For me, it's crazy that you say all that, For me, I thought, that I wasn't going to amount to anything. I thought I wasn't going to reach no goals. Why? Because I made mistakes in my past.
Mm-hmm.
I actually, my
That's
story,
right.
and to tell the audience, I ended up in prison when I was 19 years old to the age of 23. And because of that, I thought, like, okay, that's it. My life is done. I'm going to have to be stuck in the street, probably doing more stupid stuff,
Mm-hmm.
right? And I didn't believe that this world no longer was accessible to me, right? Until somebody told me, yo, you messed up. While everybody was doing their thing and moving slowly and patiently, you was trying to get everything quick and fast and the easy way. I was like, no, everyone paid the dues, and the dues paid them back. Now you have to pay your dues, and when you pay your dues, the dues will pay you back. And look, from my journey, I went from out of prison to becoming a messenger, walking on my feet for years, like 4 years. After I became a messenger, I became a maintenance cleaner. All right, just cleaning toilets, thousands of toilets, sweeping, vacuuming, things like that. I did that for 4 years. Well, I became, when I was a messenger, I became one of the fastest messenger on foot. I would actually deliver as fast as a bike messenger, and I was average the same numbers as a bike messenger, which people found that interesting and they told me about it. And then I became a cleaner. And then I ended up being a shop steward. I got 2 felonies, yo. I didn't even think I was going to. I became a shop steward. I was representing, and I actually got the union, everybody in my union, a raise. And when I left, they lost that raise.
Oh, man.
Because I was like, I understood. A lot of people didn't understand English. I understood English, and I would study the law and be like, hey, we should be entitled to this. And sometimes when I was there, the person who was running the union would like, chill. Like, it was not comfortable what I was saying. You know what I'm saying? And then after that, in that process of becoming a cleaner, I got hired as a stage manager. because I was a fly on the wall, a sponge. I always ask questions, always there to help, to be of service. I just wanted to change. I wanted a better life, even though I was depressed doing those 2 jobs. Because of felony, I was like, probably not going to be past a cleaner. But that wasn't true. Somebody saw the quality, great quality, saw my work ethics, and they hired me to do a more top-tier job. And that's become a stage manager in at that time, it was like probably a 22,000 movie lot. And I worked there, and I slowly but surely I learned, I progressed, I understood, I studied, and I'm self-educated.
That's right.
And there's people who have to go to college for the things I learned to be as a stage manager, and I did that for 20 years, and I made great money, and then I got laid off. But yo, I never thought I would be a stage manager. I would never know. I'm a person with 2 felonies, having people working under me, teaching people, having college kids, groups of college kids where I would mentor them. I was hiring people. I was doing billing. You know what I'm saying? I was in massive meetings with real amazing people that have college degrees and done great things in life, and I was an equal level to them, with no college, with 2 felonies.
That's right.
Right? And then after that, I got laid off. But from there on, I had so much skills that I learned from that space, that place, that, man, I implement all those skills today. And because of that, I am my own boss. I'm striving to be an entrepreneur, which is happening. It's a slow process. And as far as the part of the money, I don't even focus on that no more. Because for me, I'm a late bloomer. Everything is happening. But it's happening not at the time it's supposed to have happened. I believe it was supposed to happen earlier, but because I took these different routes and I wasn't patient, and I didn't sit down and take my time, like other people who were told, that didn't have the opportunities that I had, or they had the same little of opportunities I had. But those people, for some reason, they was like, you know what? I deserve more. And those people actually sat down and studied with having no money, not food on the table, a dysfunctional family. For some reason, these people strived for more. And today, those people are doing amazing. However, some of us had the same information and decided to be emotional and just do our own thing. Or, some people are just not built the same way, and we make worse choices. For me, it was just a delay in the process. But my process is happening now.
That's right.
Everything that I've wanted to become, I am becoming. And now I understand what it takes, what it looks like. And I know it's happening. And 100% it's going to happen. It's just today's not the day that it's going to happen. But I am in the process of it happening. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
And that's what I feel about the financial freedom part. I'm not financially free. It's because I still things I need to learn about it. Number 2, I need to put all my effort in taking that serious, right? I need to invest my money in places. I need to be patient how I spend my money. I need to be strategic on how I spend my money. And I got to be careful about making educated risk, which I wasn't doing. But today I'm more consciously aware of these risks. And today I could say I manage money better. Because before I used to be broke. It's literally from the money to the mouth.
That's right.
It wasn't like money put away and then my mouth. No, it was just like check to check. You know what I'm saying?
Sir.
I don't live check to check now. I know I put things away and I move patiently, and I know that there's times when I could spend more, and there's times when I'm like, oh, I gotta pull back, and I gotta re-level up, and there's numbers I don't go under. I'm like, I'm not going under this number. And if I get too close to that number, I get scared. I put fear in my own heart and be like, yo, level up. Don't go under that number. And I feel that learning and understanding that is going to put me into a level where I'll make it to those numbers that I really want to be in. That monthly payment, that monthly income that I want. And mind you, I did that when I worked at Steiner's at the studio. I dreamt of a number, and I got the number.
Yes, sir.
I should have asked for a bigger number. I know that I did not know at that time
that you could do that.
That I could do that. I asked for the number. This is the number. If I made this much money, I'll be chilling. I made that much money, and I didn't even realize I was making that much money until I've read a book somewhere that tells you, okay, what is your what, I think you mentioned this. What is that number?
Oh yeah, what's
your freedom number?
Your freedom number. Yeah.
What is your freedom number?
What's your freedom number?
Yo, when I read that, and then I researched, and it says check all the money you made, and see where you was at, where you are today, and what is your freedom number. And I'm like, oh snap, I made it to my freedom number when I first was like a felony cleaning toilets.
Yes,
I'm
sir.
like, yo man, I made this much money. I made it. I finally made it. I made it. Did it. I was like, okay, this works. If you focus enough and you pay your dues, the dues will pay you back. So it did it. And I made it to my number. So after physically, I made it to be rich. Not a millionaire like what people believe is rich.
That's right.
Or billionaire where people want to be or have the Ferraris. No, but you know what? I had a goal and I made it to that goal.
That's right.
And it proved to myself, okay, this moving towards a goal works.
Mm-hmm.
But it took time. Yo, man, it took, bro, like 18 years for
I
me to
was
make
going
it.
to say about 20 years.
Yeah, it took time. Now I feel like today you can move faster, but it will take more concentration. And I moved towards my goal without even thinking about it. And now that I look back, I could have moved more faster if I concentrated harder and I was more strategic about that money.
That's right.
Like if I knew about investments, I didn't find out investments till I reached how to strategically invest till I was like 40. 47 now.
Yeah.
And now it's like I know how to put money in the IRA. You know, I understand stocks and stuff like that and how to invest in different areas. You know what I'm saying? How other investments exist. Like I understand these things now. Now it's going to take capital, and now it's going to take my patience and my willing to take risks, like jumping out of the plane. This
That's
is going
right.
to be new, educated, better risk.
Yes, sir. Absolutely. And, I agree with everything you said because, I can identify and with me, it's basically almost, in the right trajectory, except that, you went to, prison and I went to the army.
And at the same time, you
and
went to the
at
army,
the same time,
and I went to my own war.
That's right. That's right. So, the process that we've been on is learning and getting better. So, I have a freedom number and, I'm not too far from it, but, it can be done. And, once I get there, I'm going to be like, okay, now it's just how to get that number. That's it, just it, I mean, being in the industry that I am, which is, acting, that is a little bit more controlled because it's based on, someone bestowing the privilege on you to make money.
No, it's absolutely.
Yeah, so
it's like you trying until you knock on the right door finally.
On the right door and somebody says, okay, because, and here's the thing, it's like a thing of luck, because it's not always the most talented, and it is not always the people with, the best looks or whatever the case may be. Sometimes it's just, something that is just luck, right place at the right time. So
is it though?
Mm-hmm.
You know me, I'm all spiritual and stuff.
No,
is it though?
Absolutely. I mean, well,
I believe in purpose.
Here's the thing, the man above, he puts you at the right place at the right time. He's going to guide you there, if it's meant for you to have that. If not, he's going to redirect you in another way. That's why I say stay on the journey.
Stay on the journey.
Stay on the journey. Because if you quit walking the path to your destination, then you'll get nowhere. So for me is I'm going to stay on the journey, right?
Continue the process.
Continue the process. But somewhere in that journey, if it's meant for me, he's going to keep me on that straight path to, being an actor who's getting paid, for my craft. Or he's going to redirect me, using acting to something else.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's all, whatever he has planned. But for me, I have to do my part as in staying in the process.
Yeah, and I agree with that. Like my process from the messenger to the maintenance to managing a studio to now, building my own business. You know what I'm saying?
That's right.
And, that is a process that I never thought I would be here today. I didn't see this. I didn't not foresee this whatsoever. But yeah, I am here.
That's
and
right.
I have this knowledge. And the wild thing about this knowledge is that I'm applying it all the time, every day. And this knowledge is allowing me to grow. And I see it. I look back and I'm like, okay, this is happening. the process of my goal is actually coming into fruition.
Mm-hmm. Well, here's another example right here, the podcast.
Yeah, I never thought we were gonna do this.
Like this, just we just stayed on the path, and then it directed us in this direction.
Yep. And episode 8,
and
we could have done episode 1, and that's it.
And that's
we're
it.
like, yo, we don't got time for this. Yo, we make time. Yo, even if we last 2 weeks for making or 3 weeks, or even we can always come back. We're doing this no matter what.
we're gonna keep
happening.
doing. Yeah.
Sometimes life happens, curveball happens,
Mhm.
and
But what do?
you gotta be patient. Just keep
You stay on the process. You stay on the path.
Stay on the path. Don't
Yes,
give
sir.
up. Keep going. Go without fear. And we're never gonna know. That's another thing too. Just to finish this off,
Yes, sir.
is that I learned not to project or try to control the future.
Yes, sir.
I have my dreams. I have vision. I try to visualize what it could look like. However, 9 times out of 10, the way I envisioned it, it never looks like that. It ends up looking kind of better than what I hoped for, right? And the person I'm becoming, I had no clue that this was the person I was going to be. I just became that person. And there's certain goals that I had that change. The trajectory changed. Like, wait, this is what I wanted to, but I'm doing this now. And guess what? I'm happy I didn't do that. I'm happy I'm here because this is who I really am. I'm seeing it based on my character, based on how my brain processes information and throws out strategies. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, sir. Yeah, I totally agree. Absolutely. I'm very happy, for who I am, what I've become, the process that I've gone through, the journey that I'm on, and everything I have, So I am extremely happy. And here's the thing, just to finish up, we never thought that we were going to pass a certain age.
What?
We thought that by a certain age we'd be dead.
Yeah.
I ain't
going to live that long. So
we're not going to live that long. I swear to God.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't believe that's, that was a mindset.
That was a mindset.
That, a lot of us had, like for me, I was like, okay, yeah, by 18 I would be dead. And then next, 18 came around and I was like, what the? I was like, all right, then I guess I'll be dead by 21. Then 21 came and I was like, okay, I'm still alive. And then next, I was like, I'll definitely be dead by 25, which is funny because that's when I was in Iraq. I was like, holy shit, And then next, I got back from Iraq and I was like, all right, I'm not dying anytime soon. Yeah. I swear to God. And that was in, 2004.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. Yeah,
right?
I'm actually grateful to tell people my age.
Yeah.
I'm 47, bro.
Yo.
People are like, oh, damn, you old. I'm like, you don't understand. I'm not even supposed to be here.
So think about it.
From the things that happened to me, I'm not supposed to make it this far.
So it's been like 21, 22 years since I got back from Iraq.
Yeah.
Yeah,
man. Yeah.
So
it's never too late.
It's never too late.
Never too late, yo.
Never too late. Stay on the process. Start the journey. Don't worry about the outcome. Just make sure that you have an idea of where you want to go.
Yeah. And the plans will unfold.
They will.
They will unfold themselves on their own, They're just going to be like, yo, this is the knowledge you need for this season.
Yeah.
This is the people you need to meet at this time.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? These are the doors that are going to open for you at its appointed time, not forced.
Yes, sir. What a lot of people don't understand, and it's because, society now has been taken away from the belief of God and the Bible, is that it is your job to walk. God is not going to force you to walk. It is your job to walk, and then God will start opening the path.
That's
but
right.
You got to walk. That's you doing the work. That's you putting in the, the process. And
there's a saying that God says.
There is,
the Bible
right?
says, man plans his way, but the Lord direct his steps.
There you go. That's the one that's what I was thinking of right there. That's the one. So and that's what I always operate with. It's like, okay, I don't know where I am going. I have an idea of where I want to go, so I know that I have to take steps in that direction.
That's right.
And
just keep going.
And it's just take steps. That's it. Take steps. And this applies to, cutting out alcohol, cutting out sugar. Sacrificing. These are actionable steps. Actionable steps.
Yep.
You want to lose weight. Okay, you know what? Start with walking, and then
Progress from there.
progress from there. Everything is progress, but you got to put one foot in front of the other.
That's right.
So,
Well, I hope you guys enjoyed this topic, y'all. I think it's a very important thing to think about. And, of course, me and Yanko always base things on our experience in life and our stories. That's what we are. We're storytellers. This is kind of like a storyteller podcast.
absolutely.
The process of our story.
Yes, sir.
You know what I'm saying?
It's based off of our life, our experience,
Yep.
and us understanding that it is a process.
Yep.
We didn't know that before. We thought that it was like you ask for it and it has to be given to you. And if it wasn't given to you at that moment that you want it, then it's not meant for you. And it's like wrong because you got to go through the process.
Yep.
And that's how we came up with the name. It's about learning the process, which is called life.
This is called life.
That's right, my
Yeah,
brother.
all right. Well,
So
thank you for joining. And, Yanko,
you already know.
what should they do?
Tune in, subscribe, like, share, comment, email, check us out on IG, Learning the Process Podcast. So, and like we said, if you guys have any comments, concern, complaints, please, email them or put them on the in the chat or comment section. So
All right. Well, thank you for
thank you for a great podcast. We'll see you.